What's going on, everybody? Toby One Shinobi here with MF Buddy. This is episode 5 of the Hot Drop, and today we are talking about Chapter 5, Season 3, what we like about it, what we don't like about it, what we really think needs to be tweaked to bring some balance to the game.
Chapter 5, Season 3, there has been completely polarizing conversations on this season so far. And I know that, Toby, you and I both have been playing this game for some time. Obviously, we're going to speak to it from a zero build perspective, but it's been kind of shocking. And I guess probably a good place to start, and I think that you can kick us off with this one, is let's talk about, because we've had one major nerf update, so to speak, a nerf, an update, whatever you want to call it, but we've had one of those. And so it kind of gives us a line to kind of work for about how we were feeling before and after. So I guess tell me a little bit about how you were feeling before the update came with the Boogie Bombs, the car nerf, all that stuff.
Yeah, before the newest update with Boogie Bombs and all that. Chapter 5, Season 3, the launch the day of. I was actually having fun. Like, it was definitely a different game. I was kind of like, at first, I was kind of bummed out. I was like, dude, this is just too much. This is just all car combat. And then, like, I think probably within that week, by the end of the week, I was actually having a lot of fun. I realized that it's definitely team-oriented, not very much a solos game right now. Getting in the cars with your buddies and just having a blast. It's a fun season, right? I felt like it was just designed around fun, not really competitive play, which is a bummer for us that like to be a little more competitive, like to have skill, reign supreme. But, it was fun. I was having fun. And then I was starting to figure out kind of the meta, like, actually cars aren't that powerful if you just stay away from them, stay on high ground with nitro fists, keep moving. You can blow them up pretty easy, especially if you're in duos, trio squads. You can blow these cars up easy. So I started to figure out, like, dang, this is actually like better than I thought. Like, I'm actually having more fun now that I'm figuring things out, because a lot of people just stick in their car and really struggle. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a crazy change, maybe a little too drastic, maybe a little too like vehicle machine focused, like not gunplay. But overall, I didn't hate it. I would rate the drop as like a 6.5 out of 10. A lot to be desired, but at that time it was a 6.5 out of 10, I think, for me. How'd you feel?
Yeah, I honestly, I share a lot of the same feelings. I think for me, coming from Chapter 5, Season 2, I was at a place where I genuinely was not enjoying the game whatsoever. I personally was not looking forward to the drop of Season 3 at all.
Wow.
I kind of was having a lot of internal thoughts, thinking like, am I going to quit this game? Like, if I'm not having fun and this is the way that it's going to go, like, why keep playing it? Mm-hmm. So I was pretty apprehensive at the beginning of the season. But I think that internally, I don't know, like at the end of Season 2, I finally was just like, you know what, forget it. I'm just going to start waterbending, and instead of trying to be righteous and just like refuse it, like whatever, I'm going to start doing it. And the game was more fun once you started just using the waterbending. But so coming into Season 3, to me, it was refreshing for some reason. I don't know if I was just having fun again, driving around these insanely fast cars with these turrets. It was new, it was exciting, but it was fun. And now this is coming from someone who's extremely competitive. It was good to have fun again. It really was. And before that nerf, and this is probably like the last thing I'll say, there was something that I noticed was really happening with the flow of the games. Everyone was in cars, therefore no one was dying, which means that come endgame, they were stacking up. Like, I think one of the first pubs in like the first week and a half, there was a pub, I think we were playing trios, but we had 30 people alive in one of the last zones in a pub.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and that to me, I was like, that's insane. That's what I've wanted Zero Build to feel like for like some time now. I mean, like, like we've been chasing around bots in Zone 5 for some time. So I was feeling really good about it, to be honest.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I guess to your point, like the biggest thing that I think I really like about this season is the pacing. It's all very fast paced. There's a lot of action. It's not hard to find players these days because you're going to run into a car, you're going to find some cars. There's no ratting, which is pretty awesome. I hate ratting. I think you do as well. When there's 10 people left in the game and you can't find anyone, it's just like, come on, man. Like, just somebody fight me. Or it's easy to find fights now. Those fights are, unique. We could say they're different. But you'll find action, and generally you'll get some adrenaline going, or you'll have some, a smile on your face, or, feel some way without just being running through the lobby like, okay, where's the next fight? Come on. So I do like that. Now I think we should talk about this last update and the changes it brought. Their intent was, I think, to balance the car meta, to try to make players be on foot more often or get players out of cars and allow other players to kill them. The two things they really did was bring boogie bombs back to the game, and secondly, they nerfed cars a good amount. Like, just in general, the mythic cars no longer heal over time. In solos, all the cars have less health. The turrets do less damage. They're less accurate. Actually, I think just less accurate, but I think those are about the changes, the significant changes. Then they also added the laser to the game, the tri rifle or whatever. Anything else they add? Do you know?
No, I think that they did something. I think it was like the shoulder bash damage or something like that. That got a slight nerf as well.
Oh, and they nerfed Nitro Fist recharge rate.
They made it longer. Yeah,
just the recharge rate though, which was
random.
Yeah. Anyways, so let's talk about that. Let me hear your thoughts on these changes.
Okay, so I don't know what someone else considers to be the definition of the word balance, but balance is, bringing the scales in alignment, right? It's bringing the two to equals. Boogie bombs are not balancing at all. And if anybody has eyes, they see that it was a car meta, which we can all agree probably needed some balancing, but it is no longer a car meta right now. It's a boogie bomb meta.
Don't get boogied.
This is not what people don't, and maybe people do understand it, but I just found the decision overall to add boogies. And I will say this, at first I was kind of excited, but then just playing with it for, 30 minutes, like a couple games, I was like, okay, this is actually just silly. Yeah. But the bottom line is, no longer is it even a car dominant meta anymore. It's like, what's the purpose of going for a mythic car at this point? It doesn't have health regen, and you can get boogied out of it, and it's just, game over. And so personally, how I'm feeling after it, and to tie this into what was exciting me before the update, was how the pace of the game was unfolding, how there was action at every single point, like you were saying. But again, we had people not just getting into fights, but truly having an ability to survive these fights, which meant that they got to go on to endgame. And so where there was once really stacked endgames, all of a sudden it was just dying out mid game because people were just fisting up and then throwing boogie bombs down, and the lobby's dying out. So personally, I wasn't a big fan of the update. It was really, really disappointing for me, to be honest, because I was like, and it's not that I'm not enjoying the game now, I just feel like it wasn't balanced. I felt like it was just to kind of pacify the competitive players who were, continuously complaining.
Yeah. I feel like boogie bombs was one of the most questionable items you could add back into the game at this point. You've already got a lot of concerns about balance, and then they put in arguably the most unbalanced item the game's ever seen. It literally puts your game not on pause, but you're just a free target for 150 damage, whatever you want to do with a shotgun, or just dancing, just sitting there dancing. And then you can carry 10 of them, and you can throw them repeatedly at the same player over and over again. Boogie him once, shotgun him, boogie him again, shotgun him, boogie him. It's just like, why 10? First of all, we should be holding 2 of these at maximum.
Yeah.
And why is this the answer? So I've heard, or at least the rumor was, I don't know if it's a rumor or truth, but that EMPs were vaulted because they were bugged or something like that. In my mind, an EMP would have been the answer here. Just a reduced damage EMP. I don't want to see cars just be nothing, but like just reduce damage, reduce time that it shuts down the car. I know I'm getting ahead of myself here with the balance changes, but like the update really with the Boogie Bomb is the thing that like just kind of hurt the most for me. I felt like it just wasn't necessary. I think a lot of people felt like that. The car meta, to me, it was feeling actually good. I just didn't even feel like there was a need for balance because I had adapted at this point and found out that like being on foot is actually really good. A lot of times just nitro fists, being on foot, that's what matters. If you have nitro fists and you have high ground, you can survive against these cars. A lot of people just stayed tied to their car, and that's fine. Exist. I'll exist as well, and I'll probably kill you. But the Boogie Bomb changed everything, and like you said, cars are just not even a factor anymore. It's like, don't be driving near anyone in a car, and oh, your turret doesn't work at range, so you have to be driving towards people in a car. It's just,
and it's like you don't even the distance of the turret that it can effectively fire gets nerfed, but yet now people are holding 10 Boogie Bombs, so it's like, why even use a turret anymore? Because you have to get close enough to them where you could get boogied as well. So it's like it wasn't balancing, that's for sure. There was no balance given in this. It was from one extreme to another extreme.
Yeah. Now it's just every fight feels like the question is, does this player have boogies? Are they trying to boogie me or not? Okay, they're not. Let's actually have a fight. Oh, you have boogies? Okay, let's just stay away from you and, keep you very, very far distance. But if they catch you off guard, it's so easy to just nitro fist in the air, get 30 meters above someone and just throw it down. And like the last thing they see is just a boogie coming down on them. They're like, great, my game's over.
Yeah, exactly.
Like yeah.
And if you're a troll, you just keep throwing them at them. So with that, like all in mind, it kind of brings up just like the simple conversation of what would balance look like. For me, practically, like I have some thoughts on the matter, but it's like if you were one of the developers at Epic Games and you were making some of these decisions that would go live for all the players, what are some of the things that you're thinking about? What are some of the things that you would introduce into the loot pool, and how do you think you would balance it out?
Yeah. And, all this stuff is said with like the assumption that making these changes are easy. It's probably not. There's probably a lot more code that we're not aware of that affects other things. It's just, it can be really, really tricky to change things because, from players, it's like, oh yeah, just reduce the damage of EMPs and you're good. But maybe that does something else in the game somehow that's tied to another damage effect of some sort.
Right.
And, we just don't know. But if we're just going to say that everything's just easy to change and like, we can pull different levers, and I think that my list looks like this. 1, have a way to damage people. Well, first of all, undo the update. I think that we don't need that last update. Boogie Bombs weren't a problem. We didn't need Boogie Bombs. We don't need reduced damage to cars. I think they were kind of fine, to be honest. The mythic healing, I'm fine with. That's great. I think the mythic cars were overpowered. I don't think we needed changes to turrets or anything like that. The health changes to cars was good for solos. I would say now we need a way to damage people once you're in a car. So give us some mechanic where you can punch each other. Like if you're the driver, you should be able to stop driving and just throw little 10 damage punches at people. Just enough to make them have to figure something out, right? Or if you're in the passengers, punch for 10 damage. Like we have the pickaxe trick right now, but you can't always do that because there's a turret on the car. It's just really annoying when you get your car hijacked by somebody, or you get in a car with somebody and you're just sitting there and you're like, I can't do anything. And you can't shoot them through the windshield oftentimes for some reason anymore, at least in mythic cars. For some reason, you can't shoot people's legs anymore in the sports cars, so it's like, what do I do right now? I just ride around with you, blow up this car, and we both go in a fiery rage? No, let's just team. That's what most people are resorting to in solos now, is just like teaming. Like
Yeah.
Kind of unintentionally, but then they're like, well, it's working. I'm still alive. Everyone's dying, you know?
It's 100% logical.
Yeah. And I don't do it, but like a lot of people do. Yeah, so like some way to hurt somebody when they're in your car. And I think it'd be great to be able to get off the driver's wheel and be able to punch back or something. It just forces something to happen, right? Like, okay, am I going to get out, or am I going to like keep punching this person? Like, what's going to happen here? I think that'd be great. Secondly, I think that Nitro Fists just need a damage nerf majorly. Mm-hmm. I don't think that there was really a call for the increased refresh rate. I don't think that was really necessary. I think a damage reduction in the punches is really, really needed, because right now you can basically smash someone and then hit the 3-piece combo or the 3-punch combo and they're dead. And I think that's just a little extreme. It makes kind of shotguns just silly, and the quickness at which you die with fists is crazy. So if they would reduce the damage by like 30%, I think would be chilling. Those two things in my mind would be like pretty much enough, and then just keep it as it was. Like those two things could really, really help. Cars are really not hard to blow up with guns. Never were.
Right.
People just weren't doing it. People weren't shooting cars. They were just running from cars. You have two people shooting one car, you can kill a car in like a single clip with both of you shooting, maybe 2 clips, but like it really wasn't a big deal. It's more about positioning and range sort of thing. Honestly, those two things to me felt really, really like those are the things that we really need. And I have heard that might be coming, that there might be some way to hijack, which is great. But yeah, Boogie Bombs being added was just like, dang, dude, this is your solution for now.
Yeah, that was a bummer for sure. And I heard a couple like theories on that as well. Apparently, Epic, they didn't just vault the EMPs. Apparently, they got like completely deleted from the game files.
Yeah, which
like,
is not weird because they're in creative. Pretty sure.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So then I hear that and I'm like, okay, maybe that didn't happen, but I don't know. Either way, like me personally, I don't think that I would have EMPs in the game unless I personally would take away the effect of doing player damage, and I would just make it exclusively about the vehicle, like a vehicle EMP.
Yeah, that's balanced. Then you can fight back. Yeah. It's like, okay, my car's disabled, but we get out and we're fighting. Yeah, that's good.
That would be balance, right? Yeah. But I mean, even EMPs would be absolutely game breaking in this meta. It would be just as bad as Boogie Bombs, because not only are you down 50% of all your health, now your car can't move at all, and you're just done for. Yeah. So I don't think something like Boogie Bombs or EMPs would be the answer. I think right now the Anvil rocket launcher, something like that, which is doing some player damage, right? It's doing some player damage, but also significant vehicle damage. I think something like that could be balancing. We've heard kind of talks about the hijacking mechanic that's getting introduced in the game. Obviously, something like that could be balancing as well. But overall, I want to see Epic Games stop doing this extreme swing from one side to the other. And it seems like that's what they always do. It always is like they introduce something big and exciting and crazy and in your face, and then it just totally gets nerfed into the ground, where it's like, okay, the thing that you were so excited about, Epic Games, you just ruined that whole point,
It makes me wonder if they do it for the press. So like, okay, we'll get more people playing our game if we talk about unvaulting Boogie Bombs and get everyone talking about it. And now everyone is like, oh yeah, Fortnite got an update. Okay, I'll check it out. Because if it's a small update, then they're like, oh, rebalance. Maybe everyone's just not talking about it, but I don't know. They must have some sort of data that they're working off of with these crazy changes, I feel like. Or it's just, a soccer team of 10-year-olds, and after like practice, they all like make the balance changes that they desire. And
can you imagine? That'd be the biggest troll in the world. It feels like it. It really does feel like their team is.
You know that people on the sandbox team, people like QA testing this game, are like, they put so much work into this. They care so much. Like, no disrespect to any of them. It's usually the higher ups that are making these decisions. They're like, you know what, Boogie Bombs for now. That'll do it. Like,
yeah.
wait, how many weeks is it going to take to change the EMPs? Okay, 2 weeks? No, that's too long. Boogie bombs. We'll just do boogie bombs.
Yeah, I have to believe that. I have to believe that that's very true, because I refuse to believe that there's not one person on the sandbox team, the devs, the quality assurance, that doesn't look at that and say, no, that's not good. There has to be someone calling that shot. I think one other thing as well, and this could be like a whole other conversation, I'm just going to lightly touch on it. I don't know what it is about this season. I don't know. Part of me feels like it's like a Chapter 5 thing. Like, this has been really happening since Chapter 5. But the handful of like these bugs that are just in the game as well, that to me has just been aggravating. I don't understand. I think the biggest thing for me, which I'm not like into coding, so I don't understand how to fix this stuff, but I don't understand why it took us so many attempts of communicating, say, the reload bug, to finally get even some slight response from Fortnite status like about it. But I just don't understand why these don't take top priority to be addressed and fixed.
Yeah, 100%. The reload bug right now is just atrocious. It just gets more and more common, it seems. Like Chapter 5 Season 2, it was happening, not a lot, but Chapter 5 Season 3, it feels like it happens every other fight.
Every year, every other fight.
You pull out a gun and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't shoot right now. I pull out my other gun, I can't shoot. It's like, what's going on, dude?
Yeah.
These are like the things that, like, yeah, it's just really questionable. As to why those aren't being fixed, I would assume that it's probably has to do with layoffs or like other priorities, but like it seems like keeping your player population healthy and not angry at you would be number one. Because every time that happens to you and you die, you are very upset. You are very upset at the game. And
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, I can't speak for how every player's feeling, but to me, at least speaking to Zero Build, this season felt like it actually had a ton of potential, really, to be like one of the most fun that they've put out in a while. And I would be categorized on like the Sweats competitive side, right? Mm-hmm. Who a majority of those players hate the game right now. I was like, yo, this is kind of a banger. I'm having fun. And basically all of Season 2, I wanted nothing to do with the game, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say if they make the changes, if they actually rebalance this properly and like make cars still viable, but it's not the only way to fight, and they give us, the harpoon gun that they're talking about, ways to hijack, maybe introduce EMPs that only shut down the car for like 5 seconds, and that's the only thing it does, just 5 seconds of shutting off the car. Maybe something like that. Fix the bugs, and really don't do a lot else. I feel like this could be like an 8 out of 10 for me, maybe an 8.5 out of 10. Like right now, I'm giving this season like a 6.5 out of 10. If they make these changes, rebalance, I think we got like a really fun game, a really cool, enjoyable game. 8.5 out of 10. Like that's really solid.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, yeah, I think that's pretty much all of our thoughts. Let us know, guys, in the comments below if you have ideas for balance changes, if there's just something that we didn't mention here that's really frustrating you that you wish Epic would take a look at. Love to hear your feedback. Just like, just group rage is great. Great.
Let us know. Rage on down below in the comments.
Please don't fill the comments with rage. Try to be, critical feedback is good, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. Again, we're with MF Buddy. Check him out on YouTube, MF Buddy YT. And thank you so much for watching, guys. Have yourselves a great day. Shinobi
GG's, peace.
Buddy out.